Okay, so we are going to glue this back together. I'm going to get those lines lined up like I had. My A's and A's and B's and B's line up. My grain pattern looks good. Okay, so just like that, I'm going to glue it up. Remember the table saw? I had it 4 1/4, not 4. 4 was my final number. I made it 4 1/4 so that when I cut it twice on the table saw, I ended up with 4. So that's where I'm at now. So I'm at 4 now because I made it 4 1/4. Because remember, when you cut these pieces off, you have that saw blade thickness, right? So you want to kind of account for that. So that's why I did that. And what I'm going to do now is dry clamp this, make sure it looks good, and then if it looks good, I'll go ahead and glue it together. It's kind of tricky. That's why it's tricky. I suppose I could throw a biscuit in there for alignment, but I think we can get by without it. All right, so I'm going to get a little bit of pressure on there. And then kind of wiggle and adjust so these feel nice and even. It's pretty important to get them even. We did leave them a little bit thick on the planer so we can run them through the sander when we're done. But I'm going to make sure that this isn't too sloppy. Like right there, it wouldn't work. So I want to tighten that in a little bit. So I'll get a little hammer out of the toolbox. Tap it around a little bit. Okay, so with my hammer, I'm gonna, just so it's a little bit loose in there. Okay, so I like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue that together. And then keeping the drawer front handy so I know how to size my opening. Okay, so I got my spacing pretty good. That's a little bit loose. Go a little bit tighter on my spacing. better to be a little bit tight than a little bit loose here, so we can adjust it by cutting it. So I'm just gonna get it a little bit tighter. So let's see how that looks. That's good. Anyway, so that's the drawer, or the rail for the drawer front glued up. We'll let that cook and run it through the sander when we're all done. Okay.